This NFL Picks Week 10 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, this is Bill Romanowski. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Cram? Dog.
Sean, happy week 10.
Happy week 10. Feeling pretty good. Let's see. We're exactly at 500 in the circa million, which could be better, but could be worse. Perfect time to get hot. We have a new quarter. So this week 10 officially starts the third quarter. Put the three fingers up. Feeling good about the week in general. Eagles looking pretty good. Seem to maybe have turned a corner coming out of the bye. Knock on wood. It's Dallas week. Feeling pretty good about the slate. Ryan, you've been doing very good on your locks. I've been doing okay overall picks wise, but I got to get my locks have been cold. I think I figured it out, but stay tuned.
Is it? I don't want to get ahead. And yes, you mentioned the locks situation. So dating back to week 3, last 7 weeks, Sean, 10-4 with the locks.
See, I would just go last 5, 8-2.
Oh,
okay.
I like the whole most of the season. Basically had a tough
week 2 was really bad for us, but
well, and here's the craziest part: week 3 and 4, where I only got went 2-2 on the locks. I went 23-9 ATS on the rest of the game, so I really fucked up.
Yeah, it is weird when you're doing okay picks wise, but then can't get the locks right, or vice versa. Some of the weeks where you're 2-0 in the locks and you hit the dog and you can't get the picks themselves overall right. But yeah, knock on wood, feeling pretty good. I mean, Kramer,
I saw you were getting clowned for maybe not making all your picks in the free roll football contest.
I did see that. Yes.
People saying that I was going to crush you. Lucky there's not a bet on the situation.
Yeah, I'm down 59. Well, cause I did it the first week and then it just, no one reminded me to enter the picks into the free roll football contest.
Sound like one of my children.
Yeah. It's not my job to remember. I have a list of things I got to do every week as far as send these picks in, send those picks in, and somehow putting my picks in the free roll football contest. Never got that right.
I got to screenshot my checklist at some point because I do have I have a little notepad that is like actual bubbles, and as I do stuff each week, I check it off.
While
I have the standings.
Yeah, let's check in with the standings.
All right, in first place, a commanding 86 points, a 4-game lead. Tom Stark.
Shout out to Tom.
Second place, 82 points. Evan Caputo. Third place, 81. Or also in 2 people in third place. Martin Marcius and can't turn it. Well, Matthew M. And then fifth place, Sean, 80 points. Jake Paquin.
Really?
Sitting in fifth place. Matthew Perkins. Well, he does. I do have chats with Jake on the regular, so I'm feeding him all the good picks. And then Terrence Thigpen, Terrence, I can't read. Terrence Thigpen, Matthew Perkins tied with Jake Paquin. Other notables just outside the top 5, Alan Cooley, friend of the program.
Yeah. Shout out to Alan.
Landon Renard down in 14th place. Apologies if John Oliver, I didn't know he was in the contest.
Shout out to John Oliver.
Time away from his show. 8th place. And then here I am, Sean, in 22nd place. So I'm only I'm 13 points back of first, but I am only 7 points back of 5th place. Okay. So I am very much in the mix.
Great framing.
I'm in the 22nd. I'm in the top 25, Sean. I'm in the top.
You're 2 picks ahead of me on our NFL pick sheet. So let's get it going.
I was trying to find you at the bottom here.
Oh, well, yeah. Again, like I said, I forgot to I forgot
a lot of ins, a lot of outs.
While we're bringing up listener comments, Ryan, you reminded me of someone checking in. And
was it the one you sent me earlier today?
No, that was a weird comment. I couldn't really make sense of it. But shout out!
I think he was saying that. I mean, I just kind of took away that he was calling me a bear.
Yeah, was very confusing.
Yeah, please leave a comment so that we can wash the one that calls me a bear further down.
This is NFL recap week 9. Kevin Alexander 19, and anyone who puts a comment on the Spotify, I will respond.
Spotify comment.
Yeah, Spotify comment,
and it's on the week 9 recap show.
Yep,
got it.
Someone didn't actually watch the Broncos game. LOL. They rushed for 122 yards against the Ravens 127. The offense was not the issue.
Okay, that's a horrible take.
I'm just telling you what the comments.
That's someone who looked at a box score.
Well, take it up with Kevin.
That's actually someone who just looked at a box score. Which, by the way, Sean, can we start another war?
Sure.
I said this in the office, but the score is in the box score. You can't.
Score is a part of it.
You can't have a faulty box score game. The score's in there. So we got to find a new way to. Well, right.
This. All the sharps were loving the Titans. They did so well in the yards per play metrics against the Lions. We have the biting kneecap trend. Now, unfortunately, we don't have it this week, and it didn't cash straight up, but it did cash ATS. No problem.
What an electric finish. Would you say that was one of the, I would put that as one of the top plays of the year. Watching Drake May
scramble around
a 15-second play and then lofting it to Ramondre Stevenson. Yes, please.
They did the next gen stats, and I guess that and Jaden Daniels Hail Mary, those were the two longest times to throw since next gen stats started tracking time to throw, which is like 6-7 years, whatever it is. Those two plays are the longest time to throw. It felt like forever. And if you watch the clip, watch 74, the offensive lineman for the Patriots. Like he is running all around without making contact with one single person. It's super impressive.
It reminded me so much. If you remember, Ndamukong Suh in Nebraska played Tyrod Taylor in Virginia Tech many moons ago. Tyrod led them on a game-winning drive, but the final play was very similar. Kind of rushes, scrambles to the left, scrambles to the right. Insane amount of time back there, and then finally finds someone who's open in the end zone. I'm dead serious. Like that to me, gambling wise, that was one of the plays of the year. I think.
Well,
I'm trying to. It was a walk off. There was 0 seconds on the clock.
It's right up there with the Hail Mary. Similar way.
I guess I didn't like that. That was less impactful, like financially, maybe to me. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I don't know. And Drake May, I not to start touting pre-draft process stuff, but feels like we had a lot of good takes this cycle on some quarterbacks.
Yeah, and hopefully you got some Jaden Daniels best ball. I feel like I was tossing that a bunch. I got a decent number of shares of him. He's been fun. You mentioned I was talking about that lineman, and then it reminded me of Albert Hainsworth, former Redskins D lineman. Random. Well, there was a play where he just like laid on the ground and never got up. Now he did a
lot of wild shit,
and I was blanking on his name, so I quickly Googled worst signings in Redskins history.
Hainsworth, number one.
Well, there's a lot of them. Jeff George is in there. 4-year, $18.25 million deal in 2000.
Yeah.
You remember Adam Archuleta, $30 million.
Well, the Redskins aren't the only team that made a bad deal with Adam Archuleta. Fox strolling him out in the E crew. I don't mean this to be disrespectful at all, but Adam Archuleta having a analyst job is proof that like there's some level of entitlement or racism going on. He's horrible.
Yeah,
he is the worst guy I've ever heard talk about football. He's got the CTE. I know Colby says it's not real, but I think he got a little bit of it. Anyway, who else did they Who else did they give too much money?
Deion Sanders. Although his numbers were okay, but he was pretty washed.
I'd say the Redskins were one of the top teams at getting guys at the very end.
I feel like career. Jason Babin was in there somewhere.
They were good at buying the car right before it needed all the big maintenance.
Yeah, it's like right before the
timing
transmission
belt goes out. Fuck,
right before the transmission drops out. Easy checking in, saying we're starting late, killing people on the East Coast. Apologies, Easy. Do what we can schedule wise. And then he was also asking about Spuds and what hat he is wearing. He's wearing the Circa Million hat, Circa Million 6. Of course, the Pick'em contest we're in
this year.
That is this year, Ryan. We just did our SGP stories, a bonus podcast for the Patreons. And of course, is it patrons or Patreon? It's patrons, right?
I think
it's called Patreon, but the people who signed up are patrons.
I think the site is Patreon. And like you're saying, a patron is someone who, okay. But yeah, I think you can say it both ways.
So bonus
bonus
episode about to drop. We walk through all the history with Circa, the behind the scenes. There's a fun nugget in there about me and Derek, me writing about Derek in 2015. I didn't completely forgot about it by the time I met him. And we talk about playing Circa Million for the first year, Circa Million 2. So we missed one, Ryan, unfortunately.
I've gotten an alarming number of people suggesting that they had no idea that they could trade money for the sheets. So perhaps we haven't said it enough, but yeah, if you want the sheets on top of that episode, you can get those.
Very easy. Sheets. Sign up for Patreon. All our picks, props, all the picks we give out. Obviously, they're always going to be free on the shows themselves. What?
Well, if you go to the mega top tier DGen only, we just dropped our.
Oh yes, just dropped the new exclusive merch. So if you are a DGens only member, check your inbox because the code to get the sweet SGP Python hat, which Jake did a great job designing me, and I'm sure we'll be. We're waiting on our own hats, but I'm sure we'll be rocking those as soon as those come in. So got a lot of great reasons to sign up and support the war on corporate gambling. And that's an awesome, Ryan. Obviously, the election, it's annoying. I was dumb. I thought the political text would stop. Somehow they're still going. But
they're clearly scams, right?
For me, the highlight of the election is how many times people have hit me up with screenshots, videos of election forecasters leaning a certain side and not actually giving a pick.
So many.
It's great. I didn't realize how pervasive leans were until we started our war against the leans.
Yeah, and I showed it to you. I haven't showed it to anyone else yet, but I did get just a marvelous text from my mom, who was not particularly happy with the result of the election. So I'm assuming she thought I was making some sort of snarky joke or something.
Oh, okay.
What does SGPN post mean? Clean the leans ? Well, when it gets back to your mom, it's hitting the old MSM as they call
it. So we put out a little, and I'll pull it up if you're watching here on YouTube. I hit up Jake. There were these memes going around of like, hey, this was the electoral map if blah 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 whatever sort of situation. And obviously we have our war on leans, Ryan. So I was like, oh, okay, we should do one for the war on leans. And, fun bit here where, it's all red. Hey, red means picks. Leans are in blue. And then we did put out the meme. People got the joke. It was very fun. But then I'm like, I'm sure some people are like, oh, wait, what is this? You're on red team instead of blue team. I didn't think it would be your mom, but most of the people that follow us understood the reference and get where we were coming from.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the great. And honestly, I feel like most of the content my mom gets fed from us is on Instagram, and usually her feedback is like there's a typo in the post.
It's like when Colby's parents thought he was in a car accident because he was showing up as a Petrino in the neck brace.
That's an all-time one. You get a
why didn't you tell me about?
Anyway.
All right, let's get to it, Ryan. Week 10 picks, baby.
All right. Something to note, because this is the time of year where you got to check the weather before you start breaking down the week. Play that music because we have 7 dome games. Where's Colby at? Colby's gone, so we can truly celebrate dome football.
I had to play a slice ride. I was listening to some old episodes where we were more, let's say more loose with our copyright policy before we started getting sued and flagged. And I missed it. You got to play a couple seconds.
You know what we'll have to do? I'll have to figure out a way to give you
and shout out to the franchise boys who are collecting some royalties off our episodes where we feature the rock with it, lean with it. So good for you guys. It's a great song.
Yeah, we're just sharing with them.
I think it's a rev share. So
all right.
Some of our ad dollars are going. Your YouTube view dollars are going to the franchise boys. Listeners and viewers.
I think, Sean, we need to get some sort of lever over there where you can turn the sound of the soundboard up and down for the YouTube only.
Oh, okay.
There's got to be a way for us to figure this out. Because I will say, like, it does seem like if we only went to some of these other platforms, we could do this. But maybe we'll find a way. Anyway,
I like that.
7 dome games, 14 in total. We have 4 teams on bye, Sean. The Cleveland Browns, the Green Bay Packers, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Seattle Seahawks. We didn't really talk about it much, but the Seahawks acquiring a couple guys via trade was interesting. Like I said, 7 dome games, 1 close your eyes special. We'll get to it later. A shout out Denver, that marvelous Denver Broncos team. Wasn't their fault they lost and underperformed the spread by 21 points. And we have an absolute banger on Thursday night. Maybe the best Thursday night game past season and a half, I think. Certainly one of the biggest totals, 53 for the Bengals and the Ravens. Sean, the Ravens are laying a big number. So the simple handicap makes this one where you look right to the Bengals because they're catching 6.5 points plus 244 on the money line. Like I said, a 53 total here. We know both these teams aren't playing much pass defense.
Yeah.
We know that the Bengals have one of the most efficient passing offenses in the league. Lamar is playing at an MVP level. It seems, other than it being incredibly obvious, it seems like there will be a lot of points scored. If you listen to the Thursday Night Football props episode, I love the completions for Burrow. I love the yards, the combo yards for Lamar. I just think
Gesicki's going to get loose.
How do we miss a shootout here? And how do we not lay the points even though yes, you're supposed to take the points in the AFC North and you're getting 6.5. They played earlier. They would have gotten inside the number, but isn't this now back at home where it turns into a problem if this Cincinnati defense continues to play this? I understand maybe Burrow can keep up in a shootout, but this Ravens team is playing lights out. And now they're adding another piece to that running game with Keaton Mitchell, who, remember how electric he was last year. I'm predicting a long touchdown from him. Like he certainly could get loose.
Longest,
and with Derrick Henry, I mean, talk about thunder and lightning. Absolute
Lamar.
Gem of
Lamar has been good. Obviously, he's been good all season. He's been good head to head against Joe Burrow. 5-1 straight up, 4-2 ATS versus Burrow, but not so fast because Joe Burrow as a dog of 3 points or more. What do you think his ATS is?
It's very high.
Dog.
Yeah.
16-3.
Yeah. No, it's very high.
16-3. And that's through a lot of teams, a lot of scenarios. I feel like this to me is kind of similar to the Chiefs, a Bengals game where I think there's going to be a couple moments where the Bengals feel like might win the game. They ultimately lose the game.
Probably a good comp.
I'm going to say this is going to be like a 31-27 game. And I think the Bengals get the cover. It's going to be a little scary because, man, favorites have just been cashing at an unreal level. 14-1 straight up, Ryan. The only team that won as a dog last week was the fucking New Orleans Saints. And I knew it was going to happen. Sorry, they beat the Saints.
Yeah.
The
they
Saints
fired Dennis Allen.
Saints should have won. I can't wait to get to the Saints. I did a whole rant. Adi or Clip God put out a clip of me going, if you're taking the Panthers, you don't know what you're doing. And then meanwhile, they're the fucking one team that actually wins the game, making me look like a total asshole. Saints, no business losing to that team.
So,
but I'll say this, Ryan, we talked a bunch of injury stuff on the Thursday night props episode, and check that out. First touchdown, props, everything. T. Higgins not playing. Isaiah Likely out. Eric All Jr. Backup tight end for the Bengals. He's cooked for the season.
Who do you think the injury report affects more?
Well, I'm going to say this. The Bengals, it looks like they're going to get Orlando Brown Jr. back for Thursday night game. They're starting left tackle. That wasn't even really on my radar that he was going to be able to make it. He was a limited participant this week after missing week 9 in that Raiders win with a knee. He's got a knee fibula injury. So the fact that he's back, I think, is a nice little surprise for them. I was going into the game thinking they wouldn't probably have him. So that, I think, is a nice break for the Bengals. Zach Taylor to me has been, I thought Bengals fans were busting his balls too much, but
kind of a fraud.
Just really bad in game. I think, considering the win loss, considering the talent, I think Nick Sirianni gets way more heat than Zach Taylor.
Oh, of course.
Well, and
he's in fucking Cincinnati.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. Like, I think I have
a little pride for a proper Northeast city.
No, I'm just telling you. Nationally,
it's a city you fly. Cincinnati's a city you fly
nationally,
over.
Sirianni is seen like a total fucking donkey.
Well, he is. He's also a buffoon. That's the issue. He is a buffoon. That's why it's easy to make fun of him.
And he's yelling at the fans.
He's a fucking court jester.
But speaking of Sirianni, like, the team has done a very good job of playing for him. So whatever, not to get sidetracked. I'm taking the Bengals in the 6.5. I've faded the Ravens a number of times and, had egg on my face, but I can't, Joe Burrow as a dog this big is just, it's an autoplay to me. It's almost up there with Mahomes as a dog, period. Burrow as a dog of 3 points or more. I'm always going to be on it until I start seeing otherwise. He lives for these moments. He lives for these games. I still like I'm not going to be playing him on the money line, but I think the 6.5 is too high. And this is the second game of a division rivalry.
Yeah. I wonder what the Orlando Brown situation is going to look like. Cause I know a lot of the news that came out after Tuesday, him popping up limited, that was like one of those walkthrough simulated things. So I don't know if that was a real. Anyway, yeah, I mean they need the help because that's the biggest that's the glaring, or one of the glaring advantages for the Ravens, both lines of scrimmages. And I think you're going to see, like, my prediction for this game is you're going to see Lamar and this offense be able to do whatever they want on the ground, whatever they want through the air. And I think what you're going to see on the other side of the ball is you're going to see this Bengals team continue to struggle to run the ball. And everything's going to be on Joe Burrow's arm.
Just where
we're going to see all those completions that I predicted. But as you've highlighted, Sean, without T. Higgins, there is just a drop off there that will eventually erode and cause this to be a game maybe similar to the Eagles game. I think this is another blowout. I think you're not laser focused on how good Lamar and this Ravens team are playing right now.
No, I think they're playing awesome. And I think if it was a non-division opponent that didn't know Lamar really well, didn't know the weaknesses to attack, didn't have Joe Burrow with the chip on his shoulder. You mentioned Joe Burrow against the Eagles. He was a favorite. There is just something in the mentality of this team. So I'm sticking with the Bengals catching the 6.5.
All right. That's fine. Little sound the alarm.
Okay.
Because we got international football this week, Sean.
What a gift
in Germany. Well, we predicted
Danke.
We did.
Auf Wiedersehen.
We did
Schnitzel.
Oh, there's going to be some schnitzel all over the place. We did tell you in the off season this was a horrible game. We wondered why they made it the game over in Germany.
Yeah, we saw this coming.
Giants, Panthers. Back then, Sean, if you remember, I thought it was disrespectful. This game was basically a pick. Couldn't believe it. Now it's Giants minus 6.5, minus 270 on the money line, plus 232 for the Panthers. Coming off a win, get the fuck out of here. 40.5 is the total.
Yeah.
All right. So you could definitely win the argument by saying the Giants should not be laying 6.5 points.
Well, and the public apparently is buying that narrative, Ryan. Check out our recent betting splits, because last I checked, the the Panthers were a public dog. I shit you not.
Oh wow. Okay, so the splits are interesting here because the bet splits are now basically 50-50.
Okay,
but almost 80% of the handle on the Giants. So you're seeing the
some sharps.
Whether it's sharps or just bigger bets, or people that don't want to bet on Bryce Young to win back-to-back football games in the NFL.
This nugget frames this game perfectly. New York will be listed as a favorite versus the Panthers this week, breaking a 24 game streak listed as an underdog. The second longest active streak in the NFL behind
the Panthers.
The Panthers, who are now at 30 straight games. I think if you hit 30 straight games as the dog, you should automatically be fired. And for Brian Daboll, that's been he's been there the entire 24 times. Favorites have done really well overseas there, internationally. I mean, you nailed it, Ryan. Like
Graham Gano's back. They got a kicker. Hopefully they're bringing 2 over there just in case.
I think just looking at the matchup, the Giants should be able to pound the rock. It should be a good Tyrone.
Sean, I shit you not. Injury report limited. Graham Gano, one of the kickers, right hamstring. Punter Jamie Gillian, aka the Scottish
Why have
Hammer.
they not gotten rid of that guy? They're going to a country where they dedicate their lives to kicking a fucking ball. You could walk to the stadium
here's the best part.
Go into a pub, Brian. Have Malcolm go into a pub and go, "Hey, which one of you mates thinks you can punt one of these American footballs?" You don't think you could find a punter on the way to the stadium?
Probably. Jamie Gillian, the Scottish Hammer, he has a left hamstring noted on the injury report. So yeah, that's not good. We probably do need some. We'll check back by the VSiN show. I'll have an update on the kickers. See how that's going. It does seem like I don't know. Does either team want to win this game?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at least the players do. I mean, Daniel Jones fighting for his NFL life. Tyrone Tracy, he is a little dog in him. Danny Dimes, Ryan, you're right. He has just gone full fullback mode. He's
trying to get hurt. You believe me now, right? You watch it. Have you ever seen him run like this in his career?
He was nominated for angry runs.
He did run over a defensive end.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was anyone, I mean, people would be getting pretty excited about that play if he hadn't sucked for the majority of the last 5 years. But
and the Panthers really had no business winning that game. Like, Bryce Young has made a couple throws, but they got outgained by a couple hundred yards per play. Every single metric that you would go look at after the fact and be like, who deserved to win this game? Now, what did the Saints do? They settled for field goals, which is kind of the Giants game. This is really 6.5.
That's the number I got, a couple hours ago.
Ryan, I know you don't want to go here, but
okay.
Daboll loses this game. Is he on the flight back?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Is Daniel Jones on the flight back? I don't know.
Yeah, they love that guy. How have they not benched him? Aren't they on the hook for his contract if he gets injured?
Well, I mean, there's part of me that believes that there's some sort of assurances given to Daboll, and this is like a railroad. I at this point, I would say this: if they don't, you got to have serious depth. Like this is comical. Play Tommy DeVito. Give me a little Tommy.
I mean,
DeVito.
Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston, they were like viable.
I was saying Jameis in the office. I wanted them to get Jameis. I still want them to get Jameis.
All right, so we're both on the Giants laying the 6.5.
Yeah, so I guess what I was continuing to go down the path of is like Andrew Thomas isn't coming back, but this is a matchup where I think the Giants could just run the ball.
And this is a good game because both coaches had to reiterate who their starting quarterback was.
Yep.
They're neck and neck, Ryan, for times they've been named the starter so far this season.
We should keep track of that next year.
I think it's 4 times for
league wide. What? And we should also bring up. Not that it matters, but we did have the Giants in our Survivor map.
Don't bring up the Survivor map because that episode, if it wasn't for, and maybe this is why I still hate the Ravens, Ryan. If it wasn't for the Ravens losing to the goddamn Raiders at home, we would still be alive in Survivor.
Yeah,
this is brutal.
Yeah, and we had the Giants this week.
Yeah.
Imagine the sweat. Imagine the sweat.
Hey, you want to sweat? Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. Get in the sauna, baby. Sweat it up. Very easy to deposit cryptocurrency. Okay, crypto through the roof. Maybe you got a little side stash. You want to take it over to Bet US? Get in. Grab the bonus. Rollovers do apply. Rollovers do apply. So check the fine print there. But sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bet US, America's favorite sportsbook. So good to have extra options regardless of where you are. It is America's favorite sportsbook. You can play from anywhere. US players are welcome. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bet US, promo code SGPN. If they ask, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bet US. Do us a favor and help the war on corporate gambling. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bet US.
All right, Sean. Oops. Here we go. And by the way, that game is at 6:30.
Oh, cannot wait to wake up.
Do you think it's going to do good ratings?
It's the NFL. I mean,
why do you think they picked the Panthers? I understand.
I think because like certain teams can say no.
I understand why the
really
Giants
don't know.
are picked.
Also, Brian Daboll, I didn't mention it. He is 1-0 in international games, and obviously that's a small sample size, but I do think there is there's a little advantage to already have done the going over to London trip.
Yeah, they also have a clear coaching advantage in this game.
It's close.
No, not close. There's a clear coaching advantage in this game. 10 a.m. on the West Coast. 7 games early. So God's eye will be perfect. We
dialed in.
Red zone with all these beautiful football games all around. The Bills, first one up, they head to Indy to take on the Colts. Well, interesting one here. We sit down Anthony Richardson. We play Joe Flacco. He looks like ass. Then we lean into it harder. A shout out to Shane Steichen, and he got a little. I don't know if you saw it. He got a little short with a couple reporters.
Always a good sign.
He's the head coach. +4, +176 for the Colts at home. 48 is the total. Bills, one of the public sides this week,
getting hot though.
87% of the bets coming in on the Bills. Sean, this is a sandwich spot. You saw the sandwich on the graphic because they're coming off a pretty. I think we didn't play it up as for as big of a game as it would be. It's just weird game against the Dolphins, and then they have the Chiefs next week.
Yep,
on deck. So I certainly could see this be a little bit of a letdown spot. And then just from a schematical matchup standpoint, at this point, the Bills kind of need to run the ball. And you would expect the Colts to be able to maybe give them some trouble on the ground here.
I mean, that Colts defensive line, it was a shame.
How did they fuck that game up?
still don't know. I mean, they won the turnover margin 3-1. I'm just like rewatching that game and seeing the highlights and stuff. I'm still a little. They got a defensive touchdown, and their offense was just so bad. Certainly, if you're on the Bills, you're thinking, "Oh, hey, it's as simple as Joe Flacco's washed, and that's your handicap." Which it's tough to argue from that last performance. I think there's probably a little Flacco juice left in the tank. Little Flacco juice because I like this. I like this Jonathan Taylor matchup versus the Bills defense. We know how bad the Bills are against running backs who catch the ball out of the backfield. In general, I think you can run the ball against this Bills team, and the Bills are also bad over the middle. You can attack them a little bit over the middle. I think it's another good opportunity for Josh Downs. I mean, the Colts offense didn't get into the red zone at all last week against the Vikings. Now that was on the road. Now you're back at home. You have the friendly confines. You have a Bills team in an interesting sandwich spot.
Also, Flores' defense is the opposite of what McDermott's going to do.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot more of just sitting back and kind of letting you play and forcing you to make some mistakes. I think if you, and also like, how does Shane Steichen not watch that Dolphins game and say, "Oh yeah, we can do this"? I
mean, it does feel like a lot of the stuff the Dolphins did against the Bills, the Colts should be able to do. And the Bills are banged up. Keon Coleman, limited participant.
You know what I would do? I'd get a package going for Anthony Richardson where you're just running. Just running the ball. Never throwing the ball, just running the ball.
I mean, I know
you want to play for this team, buddy? You're gonna run the damn ball.
Jalen Hurts, they drafted him. It was super controversial, but they did do a good job in that first season before he took over for Wentz, kind of easing him in to the game. Like they would basically use him as a running back. Now, I don't know if I would do this for him, but like hand it off to Anthony Richardson and let him throw the ball.
No.
Why do they not have an Anthony Richardson package?
So you're saying Flacco quarterback,
AR-15
one side, Jonathan Taylor other side, and then maybe
a little pony package,
then 2 tight ends.
Dude, I mean, Anthony Richardson lowers his shoulder
if he's into it, because maybe he's not that.
Yeah, and then he gets tired and he takes himself out.
Just play, every other play. We solved it for him.
Colts center Ryan Kelly was placed on IR, but they're getting Bernard Raymond back from a concussion. So we'll see. Not obviously not great to lose your center there, and maybe that ends up being a bigger deal. But yeah, I think you got to take the Colts here as a home dog.
Well, and
even though the public's been red hot, right?
Well, the Colts have a couple injuries, but the Bills. I mean, I think the Bills are the more banged up team, and specifically, like, what are we getting from Cooper this week? What are we getting from Coleman this week?
Yeah, Cooper's limited, kind of unknown. We'll see.
Worth noting, Curtis Samuel also limited this week. But yeah, it just seems like the Bills also, even though it's a lot of full participations, they listed a lot of guys on the injury report. Or the practice
and the
report.
Chiefs are like the X that's always in your head. I mean, it's got to be in there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I was always going to play the Colts here. I was always going to fade the Bills and the Chiefs in the lead up to the Bills and the Chiefs game. Simple handicap. Game number 2, the Minnesota Vikings, the Jacksonville Jaguars. What a delightful Jersey matchup we have here. Vikings laying 4.5 on the road here in Florida, -225 on the money line, +200 for the Jags. I wonder if someone's going to be walking the plank soon down there into the hot tub. 45 is the total. Vikings, one of our public sides this week, 88% of the bet tickets, according to DraftKings, on the Vikings laying the points. I mean, I'm fully aware that the Vikings, even though I was riding them high early in the season, they are a bit fraudulent.
Yeah.
I think just watching that game against the Colts kind of highlighted.
I mean, fortunate with the Darnold turnover, like the Grover just like destroyed the offensive line, stripped the ball out, and just ran into the end zone.
But on the flip side, for whatever the offense is smoke and mirrors, the defense continues to be real.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see the rankings of the offense and the defense slowly diverge here. But man, how do you take a Trevor Lawrence team against a Brian Flores defense?
I mean, Lawrence, that's actually been one of his bright spots. He's completion percentage against the blitz. What would you guess that, right?
I would imagine he's decent at it when he's hitting the deep shots and hitting
64.4% against the blitz this year. 47-73, 545, 2 touchdowns, no INTs.
I'd almost want to get into that a little bit more, because I feel like there's blitzes and then there's what Brian Flores is going to do to you. And so,
yeah,
and it's not always the blitz with Brian Flores. No, it's more the confusion.
This Jags team is really annoying to handicap because they show up in 2 spots, at least their offense. They show up in hurry up, where Trevor isn't allowed to think. And they show up when they're getting blown out. Like if they're down 24, look out, here come the Jags.
So what are we doing? I mean, there is a version of this where it's like, okay, let's think about this. So when they played the Packers, it was what, 3.5 points?
Yeah,
4 points.
Doesn't it kind of
Jags
feels
covered in a weird game that didn't really feel like they were going to cover?
I was trying to come up with some other angles, but to me, it just feels exactly like the Packers spot. Now, obviously the Packers did lose their starting quarterback. It was kind of a look ahead spot, whereas the Vikings are at the Titans next week.
It's not a look ahead spot.
Really a look ahead spot. And the Jags have the Jags quit on Doug P.
The Vikings are trading for guys. They're loading up. They believe that they're a playoff team. And honestly, I feel like just from a schematical standpoint, the offense should work against that Jacksonville defense. Like they're going to be able to get their guys over.
Lawrence's numbers are better at home, but he's still been 3-8 ATS.
You know what? Darnold's going to have a really good game. Darnold is going to be able to beat this defense. Justin Jefferson is going to have a big game.
You're right. The Jefferson, I mean, and AJ Brown would have gotten there if he hadn't have tweaked his knee. Like you can, I mean, Devonta Smith had a huge game. I imagine Justin Jefferson's going to roast these fools. So, give me the Vikings -4.5.
It's a low total, right? Doesn't it seem like this game? I guess Brian Flores.
I don't know. I could see this Jags team. If I know they've been good in blowout situations, but they might lay down. I think
the Vikings to score a touchdown on defense.
Okay,
maybe on the props.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence has had issues with turnovers. Ryan, I wrote a joke about Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Why can't Trevor Lawrence dial 911?
Why?
He can't find the 11. Now that was still, I looked up blonde jokes and just applied Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is secretly dumb, Ryan. We talk about a lot of
secretly.
I'm just telling you can't have
He's
that
been
good
being
of,
dumb on national TV for years.
You can't have hair that beautiful. Maybe it's the baldness in me talking, but you can't have hair that beautiful and
he does have incredible bone structure and hair. So the genetics are probably
you can only do so much.
You're going to want to breed with that one. I got my horse brain on right now. It's just doing a little stable refinement. All right. So yeah, we're both laying are we both laying the points? We have to lay the
Doesn't
points
feel great, but you got to do it.
Yeah. That defensive touchdown will be the difference. All right. Next up, game number 3 in the early window. Maybe the game. This one has TV5 vibes, Sean, because I think we're both going to want to have eyes on it. The Pittsburgh Steelers head to our nation's capital to take on the Washington Redskins Commander football team. I wonder if the new president will help turn back the clock and get them to be the Redskins again.
Oh wow!
Washington,
well, he did. The new president Ryan was in favor of getting back to the old kickoff rule. So definitely a policy.
I also wonder if he'll apologize to our commissioner. I know they've had some bad.
He doesn't strike me as a guy who apologizes very often.
The NFL is different. He, the one.
He hates the NFL.
The one hill he hasn't
blocked
conquered.
him from getting the Bills.
He was able to become, wasn't allowed to get into the NFL, but happily can become the president. Anyway, the Washington football team, Redskin Commanders, are laying 2.5, -145 on the money line. Mike Tomlin is +127, 45.5 is the total. I mean, it's a great teaser leg. It's Mike Tomlin as a dog. It's Mike Tomlin off a bye. It's Washington with a look ahead spot to the Eagles on Thursday night. Do we want to talk about Daniels against this Pittsburgh defense, which is probably definitely the toughest test
Tomlin,
he's gonna have.
41, 28-1 ATS as a road dog.
There is nothing we have to say here. The handicap is simple. It starts with Tomlin as a dog.
And I think on the defensive side, Ryan, I think get Nick Herbig back. It sounds like he's going to go. He was secretly a nice addition to that defense. Like the defense, the Steelers have been good. Turnovers, obviously, TJ Watt can cover up a bunch of mistakes and just take over a game. But I think getting Herbig back balances out the middle of the field. And if you know anything about the Steelers offense, it's predicated on having really good linebacker play. So when the studs are out for the linebackers, it does seem to impact their defense.
Yeah.
But are we idiots for keep fading the Commanders? I was smartly on the Commanders last week, Ryan.
No, I don't think so. You have the familiarity of Russ versus Dan Quinn's defense.
Yes.
Obviously they played a little, or they had some time together there in Seattle. No, I'm going to continue. I'm waiting for the Daniels is playing lights out football.
Yeah. We're going to keep betting against until.
I mean, it's which one of these rookies lately has proved us wrong, Sean. Eventually they regress a little bit.
Yeah. The rookies ATS have been actually pretty good.
Yeah.
This season we saw Bo Nix and Caleb Williams kind of hit a wall there. Drake May getting the cover, and of course Jaden Daniels just continues to be on a tear.
Most of those are as dogs, and so this is slightly different.
And Jaden Daniels though is the exception. Commanders eked out back-to-back wins and covers the last. I mean, not eke out, but that Giants game was a little closer. I felt like they were never really in doubt, but they barely covered the number.
That's the positive thing you say about whether it's Daniels or the team. They appear to be bought in.
Yeah.
Like they believe they're going to win the game. You know, I guess having a Hail Mary come through would help you if you're a God-fearing person, maybe. And so, yeah, Washington can't stop the run. Like what Arthur Smith's rock hard right now watching the film of this team.
Yeah. 2 weeks to prepare for a rookie quarterback.
Daniel Jones had negative passing yards at the half and the Giants were able to run the ball.
Now that's a positive for Danny Dimes.
No, I'm pointing out that
I think they're going to be able to run
passing
the ball.
game. The Giants were able to run without a passing game. The Giants could run on the Redskins.
Steffi Smalls checking in, and I agree. Najee 4 billion rushing yards. That is
yes, I did make the sharp call that we're going to start him this week. In
700 billion and $1,300,000,000,000.
That's his projected number. I'm with you. Let's take the Steelers. We're always going to take the Steelers.
Does Jaden Daniels get through the game?
Yeah, Ryan. I'm not going to project injury, but one last note: Marshawn Lattimore hamstring DNP. So I don't know if he's going to hit the ground running. I know
he's waiting for that contract. Right?
I know everyone's excited about him in a Redskins uniform, but not practicing. So.
Tightness when he went to go sign that new contract.
Yeah, your hamstring's supposed to be fine once you get traded, Marshawn.
It's 2.5, Sean. Are you okay? I was going to say
on the sheet I wrote down 3. I thought it was 3 in my head.
It started it pretty quickly went away from 3, but which makes it a better teaser leg, right?
How does it? I know what you mean, but how is it a better teaser leg at 2.5 than 3?
Because you're there's no good reason. It just makes more sense, and because you're already on 3,
because you're
gaining more value going
by going through the 3. Yes,
but. To your point, there's no real reason, but
obviously you would rather have 9 points than 8.5.
Yes, but I won't tease 3 to 9. I won't tease 3 to 9.
No, Stanford Wong would be upset.
Yeah, those extra 3 cents are making all the difference. Game number 4 in the early window. Man, we really are haters for fading the Commanders week after week. Atlanta heads to New Orleans. Hate week. Game number 4 in the early window. The Saints, they just fired their coach, so I think we would have to expect a little bit of a new coach bump here. And they chose a special teams coach, so you get the extra new coach special teams
Rich
coach
Bisaccia
bump. +4 +168 on the money line. Saints are 46.5 is the total. 86% of the bets in on the Falcons here. They are starting to round into shape, but to me, this is the perfect time.
My plan is to bet the Saints here and then fade them every other week the rest of the season.
Yeah,
because this team is bad, and but I think because it's a division game, because they are a home dog, because they fired their head coach. Now Chris Olave knocked out with
probably not going to be playing.
He's not going to be playing for a long time. Hopefully he's all right.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid, McKinstry, DNP. Unfortunately, obviously they traded away Lattimore. So the concern is that you give Captain Kirk time back there, Ryan. He's going to come to your trap, take over your trap. Are you worried about your trap here?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want Kirk anywhere near my trap.
Dennis Allen, 9-18-1 ATS as a favorite, worst mark of any coach in the last 30 years. So good way to go out on. And these are 2 great Derek Carr nuggets. Derek Carr is the first quarterback in NFL history to lose to 31 different franchises in his career.
Nice.
Now the positive,
that's awesome, man.
The positive spin is that you really have to be good enough to stick around the NFL to play 31 teams and lose to all of those. What is the team he hasn't lost to?
I mean, it's got to be some random team from the other conference, like the Titans.
Well, he's been on,
it's true. Actually he was on the Raiders.
The Raiders.
It's the Raiders,
and they play the Raiders later this season, so he has a chance to hit the cycle and lose to every NFL team, which would be awesome. And not only that, but Dennis Allen, Ryan, has gotten fired twice mid-season. This year, 2024, and 2014. You know who his quarterback was when he got fired mid-season? 2014. Derek Carr. How? I mean, Dennis Allen, when he took over the job,
fool me once, shame on me.
He must have been a little nervous.
Hey, he hung on longer than most people thought, and I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you saw some of the shrapnel he was catching from players after he got fired.
Yeah,
suggesting maybe that he wasn't a player's coach.
Yep.
One of those messages came from someone who wasn't on the team anymore. A.T. Perry throwing a little shade out there. Yeah, he said, "God don't like ugly," with a shrug emoji. It's like, oh my God,
wow.
So this team is 100% getting up for this game, and yeah, we are Falcons haters.
Taysom Hill gonna get a bunch of work. Don't let me bet Taysom Hill.
No, yeah, we're suspended.
But he did get one last week.
We're suspended a week from betting Taysom Hill.
Alvin Kamara is gonna have himself a game. All right.
How did they not have more points last week? Every time we looked over there,
the yards were crazy. Drake London, last one. Drake London is banged up, so there's a chance he doesn't go.
Yeah, it sounds like he's gonna be not. He's gonna
go, but not be 100%.
Even if he goes, he won't be 100%. So,
all right. Hey, let's head over to Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code SGPN and get a little Underdog entry for Pick'em. Ryan, I feel like we've been doing good here on the show. Where we just do a little 2-player Pick'em on Underdog.
Okay.
We've already broken down a number of games. I'll let you go first, being the gentleman that I am. You do have a chance to maybe put in a Tyrone Tracy.
Well, he's a smash spot.
Okay.
What's what? I'll let you. What's the best way to play it? Carries.
You
don't want to play carries.
No, I feel like just play yards because I don't know. There's always, to me, there's always like a broken tackle. These games end up being sloppy is I guess why I like the higher there for Tyrone Tracy. I gotta switch to mobile here for a second.
Oh, what's going on? Keeping you down?
I used was using a VPN.
Oh no.
You know, they always get upset. 72.5 though, right? It is pretty high.
I mean, have you not seen the Panthers play run defense?
They're pretty bad. I get it.
And the Giants probably will run the rock. 16.5 attempts.
Okay.
Would you prefer that?
What do you want to do?
I mean, honestly, the longest rush, the way that he plays, he's going to pop one.
All right. I like that. What's the
14.5.
Okay. Tyrone Tracy, longest rush higher, 14.5. Let's take a look at some. I mean, I could go super chalky. You know, do we go back to Josh Downs? I do like that matchup. I like Jonathan Taylor total yards, or just whatever. I like Jonathan Taylor to have a game. I agree with Steph in the chat that Najee has a big opportunity here.
Well, that to me is a great position.
Let's see. Najee 64.5.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That's less. That's
Case
way
closed.
Less than my projection of a million.
Yeah. I mean, so Najee Harris higher, 64.5 rushing yards. Tyrone Tracy, longest rush higher, 14.5. Gonna get down over on Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGP, and get that 50% deposit match up to $1,000.
We get Najee Harris. We do have vulture protection.
Oh, thank God.
So and we also have it for Tyrone Tracy. Boom.
Great. But that I thought vulture protection is just for touchdowns.
Perhaps.
Okay. Still good. It still feels good to have that protection.
Yeah. It's just it is in my face.
Chiefs Broncos.
All right, Chiefs Broncos, which pretty simple handicap. If you've been watching the show, Sean, a bit of a Broncos fanboy.
Yeah.
They're catching 8 points.
I was
here.
crazy to take their over 5.5 wins by many.
I don't think anyone thought you were crazy.
Oh, I was going on a bold play, Ryan. By
this is my favorite Sean.
The haters, Sean, of which there are many.
When he's right about something, the struggle all of a sudden becomes so much greater before the year. Uphill both ways. I had to walk to school.
Yeah, +8 took a lot of heat.
+8 for the Broncos. +332 on the money line. Chiefs laying 8. 41.5 is the total. Chiefs on a short week off Monday Night Football. Meanwhile,
overtime too.
Yeah, overtime. Meanwhile, and a electric game. And meanwhile, the Broncos on a back-to-back road spot where they did just get their ass kicked. And now they're a close your eyes special because they did get their ass kicked last week. They underperformed the spread by 21 points or more. So I don't have a choice here. I go to the church of the close your eyes special shown all the time. I'm not like you just going around the holidays.
I'm the C&E, Christmas and Easter. I go to the church of the close your eyes special. You got it.
5 years for C&E.
This is just a great spot for the Broncos. I mean, it's never great playing the Chiefs, but 8 points is a ton, and it's a Chiefs team coming off an overtime game, coming off a short week with the Bills on deck. It's a division game. I am a little worried about the Broncos' ability to establish the run against the Chiefs, but Chiefs suck against the tight end. Look out, Adam Troutman. But the Chiefs just play with their food, right?
Yes, I agree. I would maybe say this is a fade spot for the Chiefs more than it's a bet on for the Broncos.
Yeah,
but that's why fair. The close your eyes special is great.
Yeah, everyone saw the Broncos get blown out. They suck. Bo Nix sucks. This is when you buy Bo Nix.
Yeah, the Chiefs just are winning games. They're not covering games.
No, and they don't really care to.
No, they don't. And they're getting great offensive line play. They're getting great defensive line play. That is the one thing I would say though. I think we're definitely going to see some bad Patrick Mahomes moments here. The way this defense is playing, and the way that he's a little loose with the ball still. Although D-Hop being there a little bit changes things now. Like but that's kind of a fucking.
I still don't know, and maybe it was just the speed of Zay Flowers as to why they couldn't handle it. But I mean, the Broncos defense was playing really well, and shout out to the Ravens offense for just dismantling them. But I think you can put Surtain on DeAndre Hopkins and slow things down, and then slide some coverage to Jason Kelsey. Play that, whatever, too high safety and make Mahomes methodically work down the field, which he will do. For some reason, he didn't throw an interception against the Bucs. AK he's got to throw one this game.
Yeah, and you probably Travis Kelsey. Jason's off beating up.
You never know. Kids. You never know. Jason might make an appearance.
Which, by the way, I don't know if we mentioned this on the podcast, but fucking Jason Kelsey's apology was an there was
not really an apology.
No reason to apologize. First of all, Second, like everyone was fine with it. Second of all, if you're gonna apologize, have someone help you write something that is short and sweet.
Freestyling an apology is just, it always goes wrong.
I like Jason.
You start rambling around.
He's got charisma. He speaks well. He even rambled relatively well there, but that's just garbage apology. Would have been much better if he headbutted him and just completely cracked his skull.
Trevor in the chat saying there is no way the Broncos cover. I'm sorry, you guys. Easy saying Sean's gonna need penicillin to get rid of this Broncos itch.
I will say this is some of the worst. This is one of the worst cases I've seen for you.
Broncositis.
Just falling in love with something and not being able to see it at all.
No, I was.
Their offense was great last week against that. 10 points. Come on.
I didn't say they were great. I said they had their chances. He got stopped on the 1 yard line. He missed some throws. 4th and 1, and you run that wide pitch. To say they were like completely cooked in that game, I think is the box score was the score part was somewhat misleading.
The box score, other than the score part, was misleading.
No, what do you mean? They were moving the ball.
If I cover the
ball
score
up and down the field. Yeah, they couldn't cover Zay Flowers. Take Zay Flowers out of the game.
So yes, totally I will take the team that underperformed the spread by 21 points last week and is catching points this week. Denver Broncos +8. Chiefs might be a good teaser. I don't know. I think this is one where they can probably thread that needle pretty nicely. Game number 6 in the early window, the San Francisco 49ers. They're heading to Florida, take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Niners laying 5.5 here off the bye, -240 on the money line. Bucks +208 on a short week because of Monday Night Football. 51 is the total. We've had a couple similar situations that included Thursday night teams and Monday night teams, not teams off a bye. And Monday night teams
and Monday night and overtime. And I would say that was actually like a really physical game,
emotional
Gatorade dump. But even like that last drive, Baker's running, extending for an extra yard and then getting whacked on the sideline. Like they got they kind of got the shit kicked out of them. Now you're playing a really fresh 49ers team. Maybe they get Christian McCaffrey back.
Say it again.
I'll break the news. He's not playing on Sunday.
Really?
Do you think he's going to be playing?
No. I think even if he plays, it won't matter.
I mean, can you trust them? They said he was going to play week 1. I go, that's bullshit. No one believes me. Oh, you're a hater.
No,
what do you mean?
I can't trust them.
No.
I have read the stuff that says he's gonna return, but you can't go full go right away, right? Like, don't you have to? Isn't there just a natural like want to play it safe progression with an Achilles injury that you don't want to like go full 25 carry workload? So even if he's out there, what is it even going to mean? Yeah,
I don't think he's going to have an impact on the game. I'll leave it at that. Maybe he plays, but to your point, they're not going to give him like 15, 20 carries his first game back. That's how you blow out the Achilles. They're convinced they're making the playoffs and they're going to want to save him for the playoffs. Maybe December in some like must-win games.
Doesn't matter though.
I don't know. I think you got to take the 49ers here. As much as I love the Bucks, the Bucks like that was like the last. That was like the last shove at the blackjack table, Ryan. They're tired. They're ready to go up to the room. They got an early flight back to Burbank. Like, just fucking get me out of here. And they didn't hit. No, all right, I'm out of here. The rest disparity is huge. The physicality is huge. Kyle Shanahan with 2 weeks to prepare.
I actually think the way that Tampa defensive
Nick Bosa with the MAGA bump.
Oh, that's true. He was I know he's a real thoughtful, intelligent.
No, he seems to really.
He likes to draw pictures of the politicians on his cave, Sean. I think the rest disparity is enough for me to be on the Niners, but also I would say that this Bucs secondary is starting to be one of those teams that is going to get picked apart by the right type of offense, and it could be this Niners offense. I think,
and they've been exposed. I mean, certainly, against the Chiefs. I actually thought they kind of played one of their better games against the Chiefs overall. I mean, they got carved up against the Falcons. They got destroyed by the Ravens. Like, this defense I thought it was a point of strength. It's seemingly like been a huge liability.
Yeah, I definitely don't like laying the road chalk here.
Yeah, but I think the situation spot's too strong. You got to take the Niners.
We've agreed on everything but Thursday Night Football. Wow.
Yep.
Game number 7 in the early window. We got the Tennessee. Wait,
New England Patriots.
Sorry, the New England Patriots heading to the Chicago Bears.
Wheel, man.
It sounds like both of these teams have some dealing with some storms, some rockiness. The ships maybe getting shook a little harder than they expected. Patriots at least showed up last week. Little fight. I was wrong. They responded well since they got called soft. I think, or better than I would have expected.
Kneecap trend.
Plus 6.5. You're right. Maybe plus 6.5 here in Chicago, Soldier Field. Patriots are plus 240 on the money line. Bears minus 280. 38.5 is the total.
I mean, they lost to the Titans, so let's put that in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams, he's looked pretty rough against pressure. He runs around back there. He takes a bunch of sacks he shouldn't. He's a rookie. He's figuring it out. I think this is a really good matchup for this Bears team. The only concern is like how much Eberflus has lost the locker room, the overall bad mojo. But I think,
what do you think? I mean, do you think he has lost the locker room? And if he has, is it because of the offensive guy he brought in, or is he just a bad coach? Because the defense still seemingly playing well. I mean, I know I'm a Cardinal fanboy, but maybe the Cardinals are just fucking good.
That last play where the Cardinals were trying to run the clock out before the half and they just broke off a huge touchdown. That to me is like a lay down.
I mean, all right, you can sensationalize it because it's like the longest play to end a half in like 100 years.
That's
but also, maybe they A busted play is a busted play.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because it was such a bad situation spot. You were on the cards round. You locked him up. I agreed.
Oh, what a play by me. What a play.
And I won some money on him. And I think a lot of it was like deflating loss at the Commanders. And then you go on the road at Arizona against a team that's easy to look past. Now this is the ultimate get right spot, wake up call. Everyone's been talking shit on them the entire week. I think this Bears team comes out, and I think it's. I think the defense is going to carry them. I think the offense does enough. It's like a 24-13 win for the Bears.
Very injured, the Bears. Very injured.
Who are you worried about?
Multiple offensive linemen, 3 offensive linemen not practicing.
I mean, the Pats.
That's an issue.
Pats are pretty banged up too.
Yeah, and the Bears make them look relatively healthy, and so I hate this game, but I don't think there's any way I can lay 6.5 with the Chicago Bear team.
Really?
Yeah. I liked what I saw from Drake May. He'll do enough wacky, like maybe he'll pull some shit out of his ass. Maybe it will be simply that, you can run against the Bears.
Yeah.
And I know the Patriots aren't much good at anything, but I think when you have Drake May, maybe he runs a little. I mean, we talked about the running quarterback against the Bears.
Yeah,
not the most successful strategy last week. So yeah, I think, if they can give him time and that pass rush doesn't break the game.
I mean, imagine Drake May doesn't connect on that touchdown pass to end the game.
Yeah, no,
then it's like, hey, you lost to the Titans,
but the Titans have been really good in the box score, Sean.
I don't know. This is a back-to-back road non-conference spot for a Pats team that was dying to lay down. They got the kneecap spot. They were up a little bit.
To your point though, like if they have quit on the coach, do you really want to lay 6.5 with Chicago?
No, I mean that's what's scaring me.
Which team is more likely quit on their coach?
Well, I think it's 100% the Pats because they're really out of the playoffs. Yeah,
they're not, but yeah, I think there's less public dissent with the Pats for sure.
2 weeks ago there was reports that Gerard Mayo was going to be fired.
Yeah, but that's calmed down.
Yeah,
they're playing with a little grit, and now the Bears are the team on the hot seat. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't lay the points. All right, let's head to the late window, Sean, where they're only giving us 3 this week. Don't
make it easy.
Don't love this. Why not just do 4? Just pencil in 4 to the late window. It's perfect. Give Scott Hansen something to do. The Titans coming off that big win. Now they're catching 7.5 in Los Angeles, Sean, plus 320 on the money line. Minus 280 for the Chargers, which by the way, we at 39 is the total. We have a gas station store, which are pretty common in Los Angeles.
First time.
Sell local merch, and not uncommon to see it pop up in the playoff time. Dodger gear. Everyone loves the Dodgers.
Laker
flags. Everyone loves the Lakers. Sometimes you'll see Kings even. Rams was sneaking in there. For the first time ever, I see a Chargers flag.
I know
they're selling Chargers gear in LA. What a front!
There's like a home game. They have a home edge, right?
Well, the Titans fans aren't traveling here.
No. For this Titans team, no way.
The number suggests that we should make sure to remind people this is a great teaser leg.
Okay.
I will say this: it is there's an aspect to this game that I continue to like kind of lean into with.
Whoa, careful.
I'm leaning into, I'm not leaning. There's an aspect of this game that I will focus on because I keep bringing it up. The Chargers, when they struggle, can the other team stop the run? If they can, will the Chargers be able to deal with it? And the Chargers have kind of proved me wrong about being able to deal with it. I think they're able to. They've been moving the ball better than I've expected them to when they've faced some of these top defenses, like Tennessee, number 1 adjusted line yards, number 11 sack rate. So there is a potential for them to kind of break the way the Chargers want to work the game, and laying 7.5 with a Harbaugh team who wants to grind the clock and all that shit probably would seem stupid in a vacuum. That being said, couldn't you see them squeezing this team and it being like a 24-6 game?
It feels like it's if I had to predict a score, 26-8, like the Saints
26-8. Wow.
Just I mean, this is
the scoregami folks will love that.
I mean, they've held. When was the last time, Ryan? This is a great question. When was the last time the Chargers allowed 20 points?
Was it? I mean, it was last year. Have they allowed 20 points this year?
Actually, you know what?
The Chiefs scored 20 points on.
No, Chiefs put up 17. Steelers actually put up 20.
Arthur Smith, great offensive coordinator.
But they have not. Better way to frame it, Ryan. Let me. Okay,
try again. Take two.
How many times has this Chargers team let up 21 points or more?
1?
0. That's right. The defense is awesome. I mean, it's basic, but Browns 10 points, Saints 8 points.
Bad
Cardinals 17 points, Broncos 16 points, Chiefs 17 points.
So the two great offenses there, the Cardinals and the Chiefs, scored 17 points each.
Yep. And you're playing Mason Rudolph going to the West Coast. Or maybe it is Will Levis. I don't think it really matters.
Sounds like it. Well, sounds like Will Levis's injury is getting better and he has a chance to play this week.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Why would you bring Will Levis back against this defense?
This defense, the pass rush is good. Bosa's healthy. Knock on wood.
You do play the Vikings next week. That wouldn't be a good time.
Khalil Mack. Yeah, I don't think it's
Houston after that. That wouldn't be a good time to bring him back.
No. So yeah, I love the Chargers in this spot. I think Herbert's gonna have a nice game. I think you can throw on this Titans secondary. They've been pretty thin. And yeah, the Titans are banged up. They're coming off an overtime win, going to the West Coast. Like you couldn't think of a worse situation spot. Massive coaching disadvantage for the Titans. I mean, to me, this is a play on for the Chargers and a play off for the Titans.
Yeah, double it up. And worth noting, if you're into this kind of thing, Gus Edwards is limited at practice this week, so maybe some reinforcements there. Yeah, other than that, the relatively healthy. I saw one of their defensive backs was down with a hamstring, but hopefully, I guess chance he can come back later in the week. I'm with you. I'm laying it, and you can just. I'll tell you right now, Chargers gonna be my teaser.
Jeff Sharp with a good point here, saying Herbert's best weapon is just knowing he doesn't need to put up 30 to win. That's a great point, Jeff. Like I think Herbert looks like his most comfortable he's ever been. And he's not playing from behind. He's playing with the lead. And you nailed it with when we recap the Browns game. Like he just picked his spots. He waited till there was like an opportunity, a little busted play, a missing 2 or 3 coverage.
Broken coverages, basically.
Yeah, he didn't need to press, and I think that's the best version of Justin Herbert. It's not the volume, it's not the crazy bonkers numbers, but it's efficient, good football. As Decker said, it's awesome to watch good execution. That's what you get.
It is awesome to watch good execution.
It is fun. They're a fun team to watch. Like they play clean football. Like they rally around for tackles. There's not a lot of sloppiness on this team.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I could even see this being like 17-3. It does seem like this could be a very short game. As Decker would say, nothing like celebrating before the other.
I won. I got the win earliest.
I got to celebrate first. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what his line was. That was great.
That game ended like 8 minutes before all the other games. All right, game number 2 in the late window. Sean, it's Cowboys Eagles. Eagles laying 7 points on the road here. I know there's some 7.5s out there, so make sure you shop around. -340 on the money line. Cowboys a +290 home dog, and Jerry's all in buying up at the trade deadline, getting a big talented wide receiver like Jonathan Mingo. 42.5 is the total.
Jonathan Mingo ate my baby. Feel free to use it, Berman.
That's very good. 83% of the bets on the Eagles. Question for you, Sean.
Yes.
The entire Cowboys team, Micah Parsons, he's podcasting now, so he won't be coming back. The entire team's hurt.
He's got to export his audio. Can't make it there.
CeeDee Lamb is hurt.
He's working on his RSS feeds.
Dak is out. Zeke is just eating and getting fat again. Is there a chance?
Stole someone's lunch in the cafeteria.
Is there a chance that they are looking ahead to Thursday night against the Washington Commanders, a game that will almost certainly decide who will win the division, or at least have a strong, strong statement?
It's the first of 2 games,
of course, but
yeah, a big
Cowboys
game.
are trash. The Commanders are not right now.
Yeah, but there's just such a built-in hatred for the Dallas Cowboys, and this version of the Eagles team has not done great against the Cowboys. So I think this is like an ultimate revenge spot. You get a wounded animal and you get to finish them off.
Really? What's finishing them off?
See it. Knocking Cooper Rush out of the game.
Oh, getting Trey Lance in the game.
Well, yeah. Who knows? I mean, if that would be my worst nightmare. Obviously, losing to the Cowboys is horrific, and that's what's unfortunate here is I can only lose because if the Eagles win, even if the Eagles win by 20 points, people will be like, "Oh, it was Cooper Rush. You placed the backup." I'll still enjoy it, but it is oddly pressure because it's the Cowboys. We know they suck. Cooper Rush is randomly good ATS, but we got AJ Brown back, and that's all we need. AJ Brown, when he's been there, 5-0 straight up, 29.4 points per game. When he's not, 1-2, 17.3 points per game. Now there was a Lane Johnson injury in there as well. That's a big on-off split. Eagles a little banged up. Devonta Smith popped up on the injury report with a hammy.
That's a little concerning.
But they're getting Dallas Goedert back. AJ Brown to me is huge.
Is he 100% playing?
Because
I mean the original when it first happened, it seemed like maybe it was going to be a couple week injury, maybe no weeks at all. He is limited at practice this week.
Yeah, I was watching him. I think he's going to play.
Yeah,
that would be my prediction.
How are you watching him? That sounded a little creepy.
No, it's not creepy to watch practice report.
Oh, you were watching a practice report. Yeah. Didn't know if it was one of those.
CeeDee Lamb might miss the game.
What did you see him doing? Like running around?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
What
you're a lower
you're
body
like you've turned into like a criminal a forensic
I'm just
scientist.
saying,
Isaiah Likely's gonna be out. You sure about that? Sure about you're a cop interrogating me, waiting for me to like trip up. Like, oh, I was at the mall. Oh, that was the receipt was. Oh, that is my sock. Oh, damn it!
I'm very dialed in.
I ever been bowling? Yeah, that was my ball.
I'm dialed into the practice stuff, and I haven't seen too much video of AJ Brown running around. A lot of it was just kind of him meandering around practice.
Well, it was essentially a walkthrough practice.
That's why I was just asking. I hadn't seen him run around yet. I'm just wondering if you had. See, we need the forensic file music.
I have it somewhere.
Unfortunately, I think I have to lay the number here. I wanted to get to a place where this was somehow a look ahead spot, but I don't think it is.
I don't think I've never seen them look past the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. If anything, they were looking past the Jags to get to the Cowboys.
They're such a wounded.
And I warned people about that.
Could we get a fired coach after this game if the loss is embarrassing enough?
Jerry doesn't fire mid-season.
Yeah, but this is different, Jerry.
It is.
He literally traded for Jonathan Mingo because people challenged his manhood. Like what's going on?
Show you.
We're going to find out that no one else in the organization wanted to pull the trigger on that trade, but Jerry was like, I got to do it. All right. Game number 3 in the late window, Sean. And I think this may be our pros versus Joe's game of the week.
Ooh.
Perhaps the New York Jets, the Arizona Cardinals. It's a pick 'em. Jets with a little bit more rest coming off Thursday night. 46 is the total, minus 120. So the slight juice towards the home team, Arizona Cardinals. My Arizona Cardinals. I'll be honest, a little bit blindsided by the Jets, winning cover on Thursday night. Some would say that was a shit show of a game. And I do think the Cardinals are good. I think the Cardinals are still better than people think. I don't think they're getting a ton of all the credit. They bought a pass rusher at the trade deadline. They clearly think they got a shot at the division, Sean.
Yeah.
And specifically in a matchup like this, how can they not like their chances? What about this Jets team coming on the road to the desert makes you think I'm shocked that I've read two separate.
He's gonna get lost. Aaron Rodgers with like a shaman wandering through the.
Maybe
desert.
I'm wrong, but it does seem like the Sharps are going to be on the Jets.
Oh yeah,
are they? Okay, confirmed.
Trevor in the chat, who is our Cardinals insider, saying his Cardinals analysis: our defense looked pretty good. Play calling with Petsing has been refreshing. We won last game playing smash mouth, pound the rock football. Look ahead is the bye though. Yeah, here's what I'll say. Do we forget? Did you watch that Thursday night football game where the Jets did everything, and I mean everything humanly possible to lose that game? We had the dropping the ball at the end zone line. We had the roughing the center on the field goal attempt to get the free 15 yards. We had Devontae Adams, who clearly got a concussion, and they let him back in, and he got a touchdown on a broken play.
It's week 10, Sean. Come on.
They were not. It wasn't like smooth sailing with Devontae Adams. There's still a lot of issues.
Smooth sailing. What about any? I think that the Cardinals will be able to move the ball against this Jets defense. I think specifically that you mentioned the play calling. I think they're gonna be able to attack this Jets defense on the ground. And I think if they can get James Conner going and you have Kyler and the receivers,
you can run on this Jets team, and their offense is not good.
But most importantly, the Arizona offensive line ranks 5th in adjusted sack rate. They've been one of the best units in the league, keeping Kyler upright. It's a lot to do with why they're in the mix to win the division. Obviously, I'm on the Cardinals. I don't love
Jets 26 in rush defensive EPA. So I think it's a James Conner game.
No, I mean 24th in DVOA. It's very clearly the advantage they can take advantage, and I don't think the Jets, who have been pretty good with the sacks of late, I don't think they're going to be able to have that success in this game. And so those two pieces combined, no idea why the Cardinals aren't favored in this game. No idea.
I don't get it.
All right. Sunday night football. Let's talk Lions, Texans, Detroit. Once again, a public team. Why not? They're absolutely smashing lately. They deserve to be -185 on the money line. Texans +165 at home here. 48.5 is the total. Like I said, 89% of the bets on the Lions. They are on a back-to-back road spot, Sean, but they're back inside because they're in Houston, who is off Thursday night. That loss against the Jets we just mentioned. So a little bit of extra rest there. CJ Stroud, to me, this is the beginning of this is where I started my handicap. CJ Stroud, not that good.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy to make some excuses for him in the Jets game, but he also had some clean pockets. And I would say where he was missing throws, as someone who had the John Mechie hallmark story parlay, the 2 touchdowns, he was open on 2 separate touchdowns. And the yards, like if he just hits him on that crossing route, if he has touch, I'll say I'm with you. He was probably overrated coming in to the season because he
100%.
Well, he destroyed the expectations. I still don't think he's playing that much worse than last year. I think it's just we're grading him with a different lens and a different curve. I think the thing that, and you know, I'm a film guy. I'm an eye test guy. I study quarterbacks' footwork. That's why I love Bo Nix so much. If you watch CJ Stroud, I think the most troubling thing is he's feeling pressure where there is no pressure.
What does that tell you?
That's a tough thing to get past.
That was the thing they were all excited. Oh, he's so good with the anticipation. You know who might be
now their offensive line has had some issues. There was some pressure, but there was also clean pockets where he was feeling pressure, which that to me is a red flag.
Well, and I wonder if the S2 people are starting to be like, hey, remember that test you guys?
They're going to bring the S2 test back. Well, how many games does CJ Stroud have to lose before they bring the S2 back?
I mean, it's got to. I think there's a chance, right? There's a chance it comes back because, I mean, if I look at where he ranks in the league, Sean, in EPA plus CPOE, kind of little composite there, he's below Daniel Jones this year. He's below Daniel Jones. He's below Trevor Lawrence.
Now, the plus side is he still is a cannon, still sees the field pretty well. I just think he's lost a little. He's missing on some touch throws, and he's feeling pressure when there's not. Now it's not. I don't think it's a lost cause at all. He's a young quarterback going through it. The second time around, you know, much like a pitcher when you're going through the lineup the second time.
I'll say why you got to be a little bit concerned. because he's in an offense that propped up guys like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
And so you're always
but to that point too. What do you think about Joe Mixon against this Lions team? I know. I feel like there's going to be some opportunities here, but on the other side, like Goff, he's last 5 starts, Ryan, 11 touchdown passes, only 17 incompletions, just horrible, just bankrupting Jared Goff Island. I mean, we're ready to close the.
But
resort.
He's going against a good defense. That would be the angle.
But he's in the dome. They get Jameson Williams back.
Yeah. So to me, this comes down to, will the Houston Texans defensive line, which ranks 4th in adjusted sack rate, 5th in adjusted line yards, will they be able to push back against the Detroit line? Now, Detroit has given up some sacks this year, but they are number 1 in adjusted line yards. And that tells me if they establish it like they have been the past couple of games, it might not matter, right? They're limiting what Jared Goff really has to do. And when he has had to do it, he's doing it. Maybe this is another pros versus Joes situation here, but I'm just going to continue to be a donkey and lay the points. I don't think the Texans are very good. And obviously this price tells you that the market doesn't think they're very good, but I think that the acquisition of Zadarius White or Zadarius Smith for Detroit
get to that.
Adds a little bit to that pass rush
against that offensive line. Yeah. And Easy in the chat making the same point. Brian Branch coming back from, being tossed out of that game. Jameson Williams. I think kind
of a big piece of the offense. When he first went out, it was like, the Lions have been kind of needing him.
Lions have been on a historical run, 40 and 15 ATS last 55 games.
Yeah, I'd rather.
Insane.
I'm good not getting in the way of that right now, especially against the team. If
I'm going to pick against the Lions, I got to have a really good reason.
Texans are wearing all red jerseys.
They did look fire. That is a concern.
Well, it's a blue versus a red. Symbolism with the election. Might be Red's time, but yeah. I actually had to take that those jerseys didn't look fire. I think that's a color rush thing that you do on Thursday, not on Sunday night. Commissioner Goodell needs to step in. This is ridiculous. Monday Night Football, last game of the week, Sean. The Miami Dolphins head to Los Angeles, another team that may not bring a ton of fans out to LA.
They're not traveling. Dolphins Nation.
Take on the Rams. It's not going to be
a sea of teal.
Maybe. Unlikely. We have not heard from Big. It was great after the game last week. Adam said, "Haven't heard from Big Rob in a while, have you?"
Adam, Bills fan, site editor. There's a little mini rivalry with Big Rob, Dolphins fan.
Yeah, big time.
Well, anyway. I mean, if you're Big Rob, you lean into the 2 injury.
Of course, Rams -1, -115. 50 is the total. Dolphins, of course, back-to-back road spot, and I don't think this is going to be a pros versus Joe's game, but I do think the Dolphins are going to be seeing some sharp action as right now, Sean, looking at the bet splits over on VSiN, Dolphins catching only 29% of the bets, but 60% of the handle. So I don't know really what to think about this because the Rams have consistently overperformed when they've had the pieces, and it does seem like they're going to have the pieces. Puka coming back from another. Speaking of silly ejections,
not a punch.
Brian Branch and Puka getting ejected were both absolutely ridiculous for completely unrelated reasons. One was a half-ass punch. The other was just a hit. It was a bad hit in a game. Throw the penalty flag, move on. These are pros. We can't be throwing guys out of games. I do have some concerns though about this Rams defense against Miami. Like they started to look better last week in the offensive department. And I think you are going to be able to do what you want against this Rams team. And so
here's what, I mean, to me, the interesting thing is how well the Rams offensive line has played. Kind of a group of nobodies, 0 sacks allowed. And not only is their offensive line playing really well, their defensive line is playing really well. They sacked Geno Smith 7 times. Obviously they picked him off 3 times, including that defensive touchdown. Offense wasn't completely firing on all cylinders, but again, Puka got thrown out of that game. You could make some excuses, not super efficient on 3rd down. Weren't able to really run the ball that well. think they're going to be able to run the ball against the Dolphins. Situation wise, you could make a case. Hey, they were on the road, overtime game, but the situation is also pretty bad for this Dolphins team. You flew up to Buffalo, heartbreaking loss, back to Miami, now all the way back to Los Angeles. You do have the day's rest there. Tua has really struggled at night. Maybe it's the bright lights triggering some brain issues. Hope he's okay.
Whoa.
3-9 ATS in his career, and he's lost 5 consecutive starts ATS in night games. The concern is what JSN did to this Rams secondary. As someone who we unfortunately were playing JSN in fantasy, he just depants them. But which was tough to make sense of because the Rams secondary also they created 3 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, and they got 7 sacks. So in some way the defense played very well, but then on the other side, and to me, the defense came up when they needed to, when it was 4th and 1 and the Seahawks for some reason going for it instead of kicking the field goal in overtime.
The Seahawks suck though. That's part of what concerns me about getting too excited about that.
I would say, yeah, but part of the reason they suck is because their coach. And I've been downgrading what we saw Mike McDaniel without Tua. I think is worth downgrading Mike McDaniel. Now I know obviously it's easy to say, oh, okay, well they got Tua this time. I don't know, man. This feels like the Dolphins season may have felt like it was over. Like they sold themselves. Hey, Tua's back. We got the Cardinals at home. I was an idiot. I took the Dolphins. They're like, all right, don't worry. We can get back in this. We just got to win at Buffalo. It's a division game. Oh shit. We lost at Buffalo. Now we got to play the fucking Rams on the West Coast. Love the Rams here. Give me the Rams.
Yeah.
Yep.
Give me the Dolphins. I think their offense is going to look very good. You nailed the JSN.
No, that is the concern. But I think they'll be able to get to Tua, and if you can pressure Tua, their D line and O line are playing incredibly well, and that's less coaching angle.
I think they're playing incredibly well in certain areas. I do think Miami will be able to establish the run. I think the running backs are going to be a problem for this Rams defense.
The juice in the chat saying, "Is this a sack ladder spot for the Rams?" Might be.
I don't think it. Yeah, not from like if you. To me, the sack ladder game is like the Bears taking the Bears against the Patriots or something like that. Because May will also create a ton of sacks. I think Tua is pretty. Like the ball is going to come out pretty quick, and so I don't know if I would be looking to play a sack ladder there. But give me the Dolphins.
Give Ryan the Dolphins, and I'll also give you the lock, dog, and tease presented by Rhythm. That's right. Get in over on Rhythm. I mean, Rhythm, obviously awesome. Love them for props. Love them for NFL picks. Just NBA's going. And of course, college basketball. So really, if you're signing up now, 7 free days. I mean, imagine how many free picks you get. And of course, the real fun is building your own model, tweaking your model, tracking your model. The real way to do it. And we look on our YouTube if you need help like setting up your first model. It's really fairly easy to do. You're just tinkering with some sliders, and then once you get it going, you feel super smart and
sexy.
And it's kind of awesome to just be like, you know what, Ryan, my model and Rhythm AI's model, Rhythm AI, Ryan, 69.9% cover rate for this
I'm
team.
listening.
What are you guessing? 69.9. Nice. Who do you think it is?
The Lions.
They're on the road. It's not the Lions.
The Niners.
No. Come on. You know what Rhythm likes.
The Steelers.
Nope.
God,
they do like the Steelers.
They also like the Vikings generally. I'm just listing
the
Patriots?
Denver Broncos, Ryan.
Oh,
so maybe
so Rhythm means Sean.
No, it was Rhythm and me. Those are the plays I like to do. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get your 7-day free trial. Kramer, let's do it.
Such a disgusting week. Such a disgusting week.
Really?
To find, well, you know what it is? It's just my bias towards not wanting to lock up certain types of things like road favorites or Pittsburgh plus 2.5.
That's a lock.
That's a lock. Arizona pick 'em.
Going back to the Arizona well.
Yeah.
I like it though.
And
dog.
for the dog. Give me the Saints.
Woo-hoo! That's a spicy meatball.
You get the again special teams coach bump, and the entire locker room hated Dennis Allen. They have to show everyone that he sucks.
It wasn't our fault. Believe us.
Tease. Give me the Steelers up to 8.5.
Okay.
Give me the Eagles down to 1.
Sharp tease.
And give me the Chargers down to 1.5.
Okay.
See how calmly I said that?
I do. For my first lock, give me the Los Angeles Chargers laying 7.5. Love them in that spot. Next up, my next lock. Consider playing Cincy, but I'm a hair gun shy because of my just my issues with the
Don't play Thursday night.
No, yeah, it's good. It's good. Stay away. Good call there.
Ravens are a near lock for me.
Ravens are a near lock for you.
I have 2 not circa but like 5 entry contest cards.
Yeah,
I will have the Ravens on one of them.
Okay. And I'm gonna go Detroit Lions laying 3.5.
Also on the card.
Okay, that feels pretty good. I do like your Saints lock, or sorry, your Saints dog.
That's a classic rivalry game. Like the Saints also just completely just being done with football this year, I guess, is in the range of outcomes. But yeah, and I like this spot.
I'm on a decent number of favorites here. I'm gonna go. Of course, I don't want to sound crazy, Ryan, and take the Denver Broncos. That would be crazy. I do like your play for the Saints. I'm going to go back to the well. Give me the Indianapolis Colts on the money line. One more time.
I was considering that, but them losing by like 2 points.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't want to take the Steelers money line. That's too tiny.
Why?
All right, you know what? Yeah, let's do Pittsburgh money line. I mean, you like it as your lock. What are we getting? Almost 130 there. Let's a tiny dog. You're right. Colts are going to lose by 3. It does feel like the Bills are going to fuck around and not quite find out. For the tease, give me Chicago laying a half against New England.
Wild man.
Oh, you like New England? Oh, you do like New England. Right?
It strikes me as a high variance outcome game.
Give me the New York Giants laying a half just because for comedy's sake.
Jesus Christ, man.
And then give me the 49ers plus a half. Professor Wong would not like this, but essentially it's a Bears, Giants, 49ers money line parlay.
Niners also, like if you tune in to VSiN, the tail of the tape is probably going to include.
I do. The situation spot's really strong for the Niners.
Niners and Lions will certainly be in the tail of the tape, even though they weren't on the card here.
All right. So we got Steelers plus 2.5. We got Arizona pick. We got Chargers 7.5. Detroit laying 3.5. I mean, I do feel like putting the 49ers in there is not crazy. The Saints. Yeah.
Saints or Colts with the points, but both are kind of a simple. To me, the Saints is just such an obvious. Like we're fading a team that we think is fragile, and we're buying a team that is gonna get the. We're gonna get the best effort of the year.
Yeah, I like the Saints. Let's go.
It's a situational handicap.
So Steelers, Cards, Chargers, Lions, Saints for the 5 circa million.
Can I make a side prediction?
Sure.
I think now that you've completely abstained, the Broncos are going to win outright this week. So let's make sure you get that in the round.
All right, I will sneakily play Broncos money line by myself and not.
I'll tease the Chiefs. We can hopefully not meet in the middle.
Hey, appreciate everyone tuning in as always. Hitting the like, subscribe, tell a friend. Now I know it's easy to hit the subscribe. It's easy to take 5 seconds and give us 5 stars on Spotify, but seriously. You got a group text to fellow DGens.
#Degens only.
Hopefully you do.
Yeah. What are you doing? Just gambling by yourself? Come on. It's fun to spread the word, and like all the social media stuff we're doing with Clean the Leans, the Pisa Towers. Like it's more fun the more people we get in on it. obviously helps us keep the SGPN free and cranking out the content,
and which
there is a lot.
And we will have just threw some ingredients over to Jake in the lab for a extra special lean related photo shoot.
Oh yes, yes, you're gonna want to stay tuned to that.
It's gonna be very good.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
Hello, Germany.
Kramer. Let it ride.